Hi everyone, it's Ali here with more songwriting tips for you. Welcome to all the new subscribers that have joined in the last week or so. It's really great to have you. Today I want to look at the 10,000 hours rule. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. It's a kind of very well-known rule that Malcolm Gladwell made popular with his book Outliers. I want to have a look at it today and see if there's anything we can use to help us practice our songwriting. So coming up in this video is my look at the 10,000 hours rule and how it can help us with our songwriting. So what is the 10,000 hours rule? The 10,000 hours rule was taken from Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers. The book Outliers looked at world-class performers or outliers in their field and tried to understand what made them so much better than their peers. It looked to create a blueprint that people could follow reading the book and become outliers in their own field. The 10,000 hours rule was one of the key points stated in the book that was necessary to become a world-class performer. The research for this rule was taken from a paper done by Anders Ericsson, who studied violin players in a Berlin academy. He looked at the difference between the elite performers and just the average performers and found out that the hours practiced played a huge part in the ability of a player. Research was then taken by Malcolm Gladwell and used in his book, where he stated that to become world class in any field, you had to spend more than 10,000 hours practicing. When the book came out, this became very popular. This theory was picked up by all sorts of different people, from athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, musicians, who talked about it extensively and cited it to being something they were working towards. Here's Ed Sheeran talking about it in an interview from a while back.
I think the key. Have you ever heard of this theory about the 10,000 hours theory? Yes. So that theory works, right? So when I first started out, I saw Damien Rice in concert, and I mention it in a song. I said I won't stop till my name's in lights. Stadium Heights with Damien Rice, and literally like I watched him and was like, I want to do that one day, and wrote a million songs, did a million gigs, and have ended up kind of doing a similar thing. But it literally came from writing a song a day or 2 songs a day or 5 songs a day and just getting all these songs out of me.
So do we really need to spend 10,000 hours practicing to become a great songwriter? In that interview, Ed Sheeran stated that he spent time writing anywhere from 1 to 5 songs per day just to become a great songwriter. Now, did he really need to write that many songs per day? I think probably not. I think he probably could have written either 1 song a week or a few songs a week and still got just as good. I'm sure you can probably learn something by bashing that many songs out per day. You'd probably learn something from each one. But I think you'd be much better taking it a bit slower and really focusing on each song a bit more, trying to come up with as many ideas as possible, really trying to hone those songs. And that would probably teach you just as much as it would if you wrote twice as many or even more songs per week. I think the amount of hours you spend practicing is not as relevant as the quality of the practice. It's really about quality, not quantity. The better the quality of the practice, the more you focus on what you're doing, practicing things you can't already do, really trying to force yourself to come up with better ideas and to really hone those songs to be the best they can. The more experience and practice you're going to get, that's going to really help you to become a better songwriter. 10,000 hours isn't some magic number. We don't suddenly just become world-class musicians or songwriters because we hit 10,000 hours of practice. The 10,000 hours rule is pretty misleading anyway, in that the research that Anders Ericsson didn't actually say that when you hit 10,000 hours you'd become world-class. The research actually said that of the 10 people that were studied, 5 of them hadn't actually hit 10,000 hours practice, and 10,000 was actually only the average of a people of that group of violinists at the age of 20. And at this age, they were by no means world class. They were extremely good, that's definite to say, but they certainly weren't world class or the top of their field. They were still a long way off that. They may even need 20 or 25,000 hours of practice before they'd achieve that. So the rule's pretty misleading, and people really need to kind of think about that when they're kind of focusing on this rule. Obviously, the more kind of dedicated and deliberate practice you do, the better you're going to get, but it's not some magic number, so I wouldn't focus on the 10,000 hours rule at all, really. I'd focus on just working on the right stuff, making sure you're really practicing things you can't already do, and really trying to become the best songwriter you can. What it does tell us is that the more deliberately you practice and the harder you work, generally the better you're going to get, and that it's not so much just down to talent. We're not stuck where we are just because we aren't innately talented as songwriters. We really can work at it and become better just by spending time dedicated to practice. So enjoy the journey, don't just focus on the destination. We want to be really great songwriters, and particularly to be writing those songs we hear in our heads and that we kind of listen to and enjoy our favourite artists playing. We want to be writing songs that are equally as good, but we need to enjoy actually that learning process of writing each individual song and getting a bit better each time, rather than just constantly wanting to be at that kind of top level. It's going to take a while to get there, and we need to really enjoy the journey as we do it. Otherwise, we're going to lose motivation and give up way before we get to where we want to be. If the 10,000 hours rule teaches us anything, it tells us that we need to be really patient with our songwriting. If we want to get to that top level, or even just get to a really good level, we need to put a lot of hours of practice in. We're not going to be able to do this if we give up after kind of 100 hours or 200 hours of practice, or having written just one or two songs and then thinking, oh, these are rubbish, there's no point in me being a songwriter, I'm just going to give up. You're going to need to put in a lot more time than that to really get to where you want to be, to writing those songs that are similar level to the ones that you love, and where you can be really proud of the songs you're coming out with. So we need to really have patience, focus on the long game, and just enjoy the writing process. So some points for you to take away from this lesson. Number 1, be really deliberate with how you practice your songwriting. Don't focus on the quantity of songs you come out with or the amount of time you spend practicing. Really focus on making the quality of your songs as good as possible, really honing those ideas, trying to push your creative boundaries. These are things that are going to really help you improve as a songwriter, not just the amount of hours you've spent practicing or the amount of songs you've churned out. The better the quality, the better songwriter you're going to become. Number 2, focus on the journey and be patient. It's really important that you just focus on enjoying the journey as a songwriter. It's going to take you a long time to really get good at it and to the level you probably want to be at. So just enjoy that journey and be patient. You will get there if you keep practicing, but just enjoy that journey. You don't want to kind of get frustrated just because you haven't written some amazing song yet by the time you've been practicing for only a year. You're going to need to probably spend a lot more time than that. So just enjoy the journey and be patient. You will get there. So that's it for this video. I hope you've got a lot out of it. I hope you found it helpful. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe below. I really appreciate it if you do that. It helps me out an awful lot. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.